with an inspired stretch of hardball. Led by a starting rotation that has turned downright stingy and the constant of a remarkable defense, Colorado rolls into the Pacific Northwest to visit Seattle. The Mariners have been one of the surprise clubs in baseball this season, hitting and pitching their way near the top of the AL West. It has the makings of a memorable weekend. Rockies, Mariners, next.
Here come the Rockies. Take a good look. You won't see it for long.
It is a beautiful Friday evening at Safeco Field in downtown Seattle, Washington. Rockies were up here a couple of years ago. You know, they played the Mariners more than any other team in the American League. The Rockies and Mariners have met 38 times. The Rockies are 16-22, and King Felix's first pitch of the night is in there, strike one on DJ LeMahieu.
There's the numbers on King Felix. No complete games anymore. He's not that type of pitcher. He's open maybe 5-6 innings. Not overpowering anymore. He used to throw that 95, 96 mile an hour fastball. Now it's about 89 miles an hour on average, but it's getting hit at a 311 clip, as you can see. A lot more curveballs now. He still has a devastating changeup. And those are the two pitches you got to be aware of if you're the Rockies tonight.
Here's the 0-2, and it was a slider that's hit in the air to fairly deep center field, but Heredia is out there and he'll make the catch. One out as we take a look at the Southwest batting order tonight for the Rockies. Charlie will bat second. Nolan Arenado looking to turn around career numbers against the Mariners that surprisingly are not good. He hits everybody, right? Cargo, Trevor Story, Gerardo Parra, 316 in his career against Seattle. Ian Desmond. The DH tonight will be Raimel Tapia, and Tony Walters is behind the plate. Originally, Tommy Murphy was behind the plate, but Tommy had to get back on a plane and head east because his wife is about to give birth.
I think he'll gladly take the getting taken out of the lineup to head back home to be there for that birth. It's neat news.
That's where you need to be. There's a strike on the corner, and it's 0-2. So Hernandez has thrown 5 straight strikes out of the gate. And historically, one of the great things about Felix Hernandez, yes, he struck out a high rate of hitters, but he didn't walk many either. 0-2 on Charlie, and that's wasted, a curveball. Charlie's 3 for 4 against Felix Hernandez. Hernandez has pitched against the Rockies, though just one time. That was back in 2015 at Coors Field. He gave up 4 runs in 6 2/3. He gave up a bunch of hits, though. He gave up 11 hits.
Well, Charlie had 3 of those hits in that ball game.
That's outside.
Well, I was talking about the changeup and the curveball. Those are the ones that you got to make sure that you get up, because if they start at the knees, they'll work down, and then you'll swing over the top.
Got enough of it that it's a foul ball off the catcher, Chris Herman.
Well, Chris is getting a lot of work behind the plate with Mike Zunino on the shelf now.
Well, that just happened yesterday, where Zunino was placed on the disabled list. He has an ankle injury, and he'll be out, they think, 2 to 3 weeks. So the versatile Chris Herman, who can go out and play the outfield for you also, will be getting a lot of opportunity behind the plate.
Well, here comes the curveball.
And Charlie read it well. He hits it to deep right field. Did he get enough of it? You bet. Home run. Charlie Blackmon with his 16th of the year, his 12th out on the road.
Well, partner, you said it right. He waited back on that curveball beautifully.
That's the 15th home run given up by Hernandez this year.
Yeah, the 9th to a left-handed batter. And Charlie gets everything behind this. Wasn't quite sure. Sometimes the ball will go here, and I think it goes a little bit better when the dome's open. It's a little hotter and more humid here than it has been.
And a Rockies fan almost made the catch. Gotta
Even
like
better.
That. Yeah. You know, when you go through the receiving line, it's like a wedding in the Rockies dugout. When Charlie goes through, the last person you get to is Gerardo Parra, who then gives him an enormous bear hug. This is pulled to third. Kyle Seager's got it. He'll throw out Nolan. 2 outs, and that'll bring up Cargo.
Well, I thought the other day, Charlie, his swings, remember he hit the home run at Coors Field to dead center field, then had another one to left center, a base hit. He was on the ball much better, and you can see from that swing on the Subaru Supermo that he's starting to get back to making sure that front side stays in and stays closed long enough before the swing happens.
He was at about 268 a few days ago, and he went 5 for 12 to your point in the San Francisco series. And we've been saying for, you know, a week, 10 days that Charlie's fixing to get hot. That is kind of punch to left field. See if Cargo goes for 2. He's going to stop at first after a hard turn. Denard Span got to the baseball pretty quickly.
I'm laughing because King Felix stared down Cargo the whole way to first base.
As if to say, really?
Really? You're going to take that one.
And they know one another. Again, both hail from Venezuela.
Just watch King Felix. Right off the end of the bat, he kind of looks, and then he's like, really?
Thought I made a really good pitch.
Well, he did. They played against each other, as you said, Drew, in Venezuela. They never played together until the WBC, but they played against each other in youth baseball.
This is smoked up the middle by Story. The Rockies apparently not done in the first inning. A couple of singles after the Blackman home run. And that'll bring up Parra.
I think maybe with that hit, too, we'll have to double check after that base hit, but Trevor Story came into the game at 279. That might take him over to the 280 mark.
He leads all National League shortstops in virtually every offensive category. He was 3rd in hitting, in batting average last time I checked, but he's on the rise. You think about April and how much he struggled to make contact, and what he's done the last 2.5 months, something special. It's down low. It bears repeating. Story's strikeout rate the last couple of months is around 21%. That's below league average.
Yeah, and he's now hitting 281 on the season.
You know, that's not a nice 10-day stretch. At the bottom of the zone, and it's 1-1. Home plate umpire is Doug Eddings. Marty Foster's at first. The longtime umpire and a good one, Joe West, is at second, and Mark Ripperger's at third.
Country Joe West walking in today when I was coming back up from the field. How you doing, Joe? Good, good.
A lot of ball games he's umpired.
Hoping Gerardo can keep this hot streak that he's had lately with runners in scoring position, hitting 500. And it's not just 2 for 4 or 4 for 8. It's 20 for 40.
And 396 overall, 3rd best in the league. That foul ball levels account at 2-2.
A train coming through here?
Well, not like literally through
no,
here, but not
like
far away.
Right behind, huh?
2 on, 2 out to run in on the Blackman home run. And that's down low, 3-2. So now you get the benefit of the runners in motion.
Trevor's stretching out at first base. He wants to make sure those legs are loose.
I'm watching where Guillermo Heredia plays. He plays a shallow center field. Denard Span in left is very shallow.
Just enough action on that changeup.
And if Gerardo pulls the baseball down that right field line, they're going to run for a while because Ben Gamble.
He's really pinching that gap in right center field.
Yeah, I mean, He needs a train to get to the line. 3-2 once again. And this is in the air to center field. Heredia is right there, and that'll be all. But the Rockies, a very productive first inning. They get the home run from Blackman, his 16th of the year. When we come back, German Marquez on the mound for the Rockies. Of the Seattle Mariners. I'm with a former Mariner, Jeff Houston, but he's so old he had to play at the Kingdom.
Yeah, that was the last year, and then they opened up Safeco in '99. But I played here as a visitor.
You did get to play here as a visitor. Yeah, of course you did.
Yep.
Here's the numbers: 17 starts so far for German, and the 5.14 ERA has been altered because at home he has a very high ERA. Out on the road, he has one of the top ERAs in the National League. It's sub-3 ERA.
Yeah, 276, fourth lowest in the National League, and see all the pitches that he likes to throw, and I think that's the key for him because the changeup now is a pitch that he's comfortable throwing. We know the fastball, the slider, and the curveball, but the changeup has become really a great weapon for him.
Well, I like how Tony has him open up here. Fastball for strike one, and then 2 curveballs. He's ahead of D. Gordon, 1 and 2.
Well, D will still drop a bunt down, though, with 2 strikes. We've seen that before.
Fouls off fastball up in the zone. It remains 1 and 2.
Well, I think that's a great plan because they had been ambushing, meaning they jump out, they are expecting a fastball. That's what we mean by that in the first inning for German.
Oh, well, Nolan, in his haste, knowing that he had to get rid of it, didn't make the transition. That's all about speed.
Yes.
That miscue is all about the speed of D. Gordon.
Yeah, and I think Nolan, when he has to look at this again, he'll think about maybe coming and getting that baseball, trying to make sure he could get it on a short hop, because once he sits back on it, he knows that that's got to be a transition from his hand, from his glove to his hand quickly, and that'll be the 7th error for Nolan on the year.
And now Gene Segura, one of the 3 highest batting averages in Major League Baseball. Marquez of Atlanta. And it goes without saying who the other one is, Jose Altuve.
Yeah.
I don't know why this guy has moved around like he has, because he's a good teammate, and as we were talking about in the open, he hits all day long and all night long. Second to Altuve right now in hits in the American League. He has 112, Altuve 116.
But I think some of the guys he's been traded for are also part of the reason. You got to give up something to get something.
That's right. And that, we'll talk about that trade here in a moment. We'll do it right now. When Jerry Dipoto did that deal a couple of years ago with Arizona, and he knew both franchises well, and he knew Gene Segura very well, because Gene Segura he traded originally from Los Angeles, the Angels, to Milwaukee.
For Zach Greinke. Yeah, he's part of that Zach Greinke trade.
That's right. That's fouled off. So 2 strikes on Segura. It's Segura and Mitch Haniger coming from Arizona for 2 really good players.
Walker and Marte.
Taijuan Walker and Ketel Marte. Now Marte's not having a great year this year. Taijuan Walker's going to be out for well into next year because he just had Tommy John surgery. Taijuan Walker was really good last year.
Yeah, he was. I mean, the Rockies can attest to that one.
But you have 2 guys that Jerry picked up that are going to hit every night of the year in the top 5 in your lineup in Segura and Mitch Haniger.
You think that was a steak that Jerry was eating since he just signed an extension today?
He can afford to have the steak now, yeah. Yesterday they shot him in the booth. He was having a PB&J. 2 strikes on Segura. Gordon takes off. Big jump. Throw to second. Got a chance. Wow. I'll tell you what. You want to talk about a transition. Watch Tony Walters. Because D. Gordon got an enormous jump.
He did, and I didn't think there was a chance when Tony caught this ball that he was going to be able to make it. But the transition that he gets from glove to hand and then the throw with the accuracy. Foot. Boy, that's tough to see. Did that foot come up off the bag? Well, they're going to give it a peek here early on.
They're going to take a look at it.
So I think if you're Joe West, you're thinking, well, he tagged him on the hip.
Well, if he's out, this will be a nice break for the Rockies because, you know, Nolan makes not very many errors, right? And Herman pitched him beautifully initially. Let's see if he bounces here.
This will give us the best look.
Oh,
you know what?
He may be
yeah,
out
I think
initially.
he's out. Just
yeah,
watching that.
There was no bounce.
No, there was no bounce. I was too. But I don't think the foot's at the bag. That angle is a little tough to see where the heel is. Remember, they have different angles in New York than we do. And they can slow it down frame by frame.
D22 out of 27 prior to that attempt.
Now here they come. They're getting ready to make their call.
Out at second base.
Nice job, Brian Jones.
That's a great job for Brian. That was close. And the Rockies, Tony Walters.
That goes to Tony's side of the ledger. That is now 7 for 21 caught stealing for Tony.
That may be the best one I've seen.
Yeah.
Because this is toward Cargo. He'll lay out, and is he all right? Yep.
Yeah.
I thought when he was rolling over, I thought he may have gotten hurt. Great catch. 2 outs. Cargo's kind of perfected that the last few years, hasn't he?
Yeah, he's really good at it as far as timing. When do I leave my feet? Because that's the key to all of this. But he watch his head though. Is that how hard? Kind of a little bit of whiplash, and Herman likes it. Sure, take your cap off, give him a little tip.
Well, going back to Tony's throw.
Yeah.
I think so many times people focus on, you know, how hard a guy throws and what kind of arm strength. That had zero to do with arm strength and everything to do with his transition and getting the ball out.
It was like a blur from the time he caught it to the time he got rid of it.
We'll time it during the commercial break. I guarantee he's around 1.8 on that.
Had to be, though,
which is phenomenal, and it's not because he's throwing the ball 96 miles an hour from behind the plate.
The other thing, too, how accurate it was.
Yep. On the corner, changeup for a strike, 1-2.
Just watch, boom, and gone. That's just straight quickness.
And Tony
and
on
it's
the
a
throw,
feat, too.
he's trying to get it. He's just trying to get it there airborne on the second base side of the bag.
That's all he's doing.
And you've been that guy in the receiving end a million times.
Well, because as a shortstop or second baseman, when you're taking that throw, you know you've peaked as that ball is getting ready to be delivered to home. You see that guy take off, so you know what kind of jump he's got. So you're sitting there waiting for that ball to get to you because you know it's going to be close.
Span hits it in the air foul down the left field line out of play. Two outs and a 1-2 count on Denard Span. They are without Mitch Haniger, maybe through this series, because Mitch Haniger ran into the wall a couple times yesterday, that side wall, and bruised his knee. This is on the ground to Desmond, and a very fine start for Herman with a little help from his catcher, Tony Walters. Rockies up 1-0 on the Blackman home run. Taco Bell locations the next day. Do it between 4 and 6 in the afternoon, and you get your Rockies taco special. Liv Moss at Taco Bell. Ian Desmond steps in. Rockies up 1-0, top of 2 in Seattle. And Desi takes a strike on the outside corner. Rockies coming off that sweep of the Giants in which they allowed just 3 runs. Remarkable stuff. And they got a rather timely 7th inning home run a couple of days ago from Chris Iannetta.
What was it, 453 feet, I think it was, on the home run?
Right down the line and up on the concourse. And this ball is pulled to short. It comes up on Segura, and he still was able to get Desmond.
That's because he has a strong arm. And the ball dropped down right at his feet. Well, Segura's played some second base. He's played shortstop, but if he doesn't have this strong arm, so it bounces, clanks it, but then it kind of closes ground towards first base. But if it kicks left or right, he's a foot away. Desi beats it out, but he gets him by a half a stride.
Here's Raimel Tapia. Rockies DH tonight, and he fouls that off.
Well, that's the advantage that the Rockies have tonight. You talked about Tom Murphy flying back to Colorado. So you're playing with a man short, but with the DH, the American League rules, you don't, not the worry that you would have if you were playing at Coors Field or in a National League park.
Yep, the Rockies on their bench, to your point, have Cuevas, Valleca, and Iannetta, and they're in the act of getting another body here.
The question becomes, can you get them here by game time tomorrow?
Yeah, so it's a little easier if you're in the middle of the country.
Yeah.
Tougher when you're coming up to Seattle. 1-2. 2-2. No swing. 3-2. See, this is where, just watching Felix Hernandez, he's different from the guy we saw in his prime, in that he'd come right after Tapia and it'd be mid-90s stuff, and he's, working on the edges, trying to get him to expand. We came after him there, and this ball's pulled to the right field corner. Layout, and fortunately for Gamble, as Tapia doesn't realize it, it's going to be an automatic double. He was halfway to third. Gamble laid out there. If that short hops the wall, it will be a triple at least.
And possibly an inside the Parker. Gamble laid out for that on the warning track. Pretty hard warning track here. Then it bounds up into the stands. Tapia works it from an 0-2 count back to 3-2, and then laces this when Gamble misses that by a foot. And it goes pretty high up into the stands.
Yeah, you don't usually see a dive in that situation. So the Rockies have Tony Walters at the plate. Tapia's first hit in 2018. And the Rockies, a nice opportunity here to build on their 1-0 lead. They already have 4 hits off of Hernandez. Tony takes down.
We'll see on that 90 miles an hour. That's 89 to 91 all night long for Hernandez now. He was a power guy, and it's not unusual. A lot of guys have to transition from being a power guy to more of a finesse later on in their career.
And I think for King Felix, you look at the age, and it's hard to believe he's only 32, but he got here at 19, and there's a lot of wear and tear, a lot of mileage on that arm. It's in the zone, 1-1, as opposed to, other 32-year-olds that maybe didn't get to the big league level till they were 25 or 26.
This is start number 394 in his career. A 6-time All-Stars, won a Cy Young.
Through a perfect game. 1-2. He has never, however, been to the postseason, because Seattle has the longest playoff drought of any of the major sports teams, the major sports leagues, any team in North America.
Buffalo helped him out by making the playoffs last year.
This is pulled foul. And the wild thing, if you remember, in 2001, the Mariners went out and won 116 games.
They were world beaters.
They were world beaters until they got to the postseason, and they have not been back since. It's one of the reasons the town is really excited about where they are right now at 56-32, battling Houston for supremacy in the AL West. 1-2 on Tony. And this ball's well hit right center field. Tony leaned on this thing, and it is Gamble crashing into the wall again. Tapia coming around, going towards third is Walters, and it catches the back of Tony Walters, which is a great break. And Tony has himself a run-scoring triple. Gamble's leaving prints all over the ballpark and still can't come up with a baseball. It's 2-0 Colorado.
I mean, he crushed this ball. He got every bit of it off the bat. You're thinking it's in the seats. And then Gamble lays out again, goes crashing into the wall. Tapia scores easily from second base. Good thing for Tony, this catches him in the right elbow, because that was going to be close at third, but nonetheless a triple for Tony.
He smothered that baseball.
Yeah, he did.
Tony hit that a mile. First triple of the year, and here's DJ with one out, infield halfway, and DJ's going to get the run in here. Fly ball to Gamble. He won't have to dive. Tony jogs home, and the Rockies have a 3-spot up already.
I love that approach from DJ. Don't wait around. Just take that ball that's away from you. You know what you can do. You can manipulate the bat to hit the ball in the air the other way. Deep enough to score Tony. And Tony's kind of saying, thank you. I don't have to run real hard after I had to run hard on that triple. Out of gas a little bit.
A little bit. 32nd RBI for LeMahieu. The Rockies offense immaculately good right now through the first 10 hitters. Here's Blackman. He had a home run his first time up on a curveball. Outside on Charlie. That was the 21st interleague home run for Blackman. There's a couple of guys in that Rockies lineup that have hit a lot of home runs against the other league. For the Rockies, Helton all time with 28, then Cargo 25 against the American League. Tulo and Walker, and then Chuck Nasty rising up that list. Outside. 2-1. That was a gift from Doug Eddings. That was off the plate.
Definitely off the Subaru strike zone.
Charlie diplomatic in asking where that was. Had that been a called strike 3, he would have been less diplomatic. They go out there again. And you just know in your head, don't you?
Yeah.
Okay, I got to cover that.
Yeah, I have to now because he's already shown he's going to call it. So if you're Charlie now, you'd know what the strike zone is. This is not what you really want to swing at, but you have to. And it does help. If you're looking at the Subaru strike zone right now, if you're Charlie, you're saying, well, I know where they're going to go. They're not coming back inside because I pulled a curveball for a home run. So I'm going to be looking away and then react in. Just like that.
Yep, he reacted in.
And it helped that it was a 85-mile-an-hour changeup.
There's not a guy that has gone to the plate that has been flummoxed yet against Hernandez. They are seeing him really well. This ball to left field. Denard Span will make the catch to end the inning. 2 more runs for the Rockies. A double by Tapia. A long triple by Tony Walters. Sac fly. DJ LeMahieu. 3-0 Colorado in Seattle. Hernandez as we go to the bottom of the second inning. German Marquez against Nelson Cruz. Fastballs up and in at 94, ball one on the 38-year-old Cruz. He can still hit, though.
He hasn't slowed down a bit.
No, not at all. In fact, Cruz with 22 home runs. He's batting .344 over his last 34 games. Got 11 home runs in his last 23 games. Scary guy at the plate. German's ahead 1-2. And on the ground is short. Good pickup there by Story on the short hop. Let's take a look at the Southwest batting order for the Seattle Mariners of Scott Service. Kyle Seager, he'll bat right now. He's batting in the 5 spot. Ryan Healy has 17 home runs this year. Ben Gamel, Chris Herman, and Guillermo Heredia. Again, the lineup, their normal lineup would feature Mitch Haniger in the middle, and most nights Mike Zunino. Zunino's on the DL, and Scott Service has had to sit down Mitch Haniger for probably at least a couple of days to get that bruised knee.
Well, I think tomorrow, with it being a day game, I think he will. I mean, he crashed into this wall hard.
He ended up doing it again on a similar play. And
like it might be a shoulder more than his knees.
It's kind of a little everything, wasn't it?
Yeah.
1-1 on Kyle Seager. Like his little brother down in LA. This is a good player.
I was just waiting to see which one of us, and it'll probably be me, who calls him Corey one time this weekend.
That's likely to happen.
That's why when he had that Players Weekend jersey on last year, it was fitting.
Yeah.
Corey's brother.
One and two. Loud fastball at 98. Loud when it hit the glove of Tony Walters. 2-2. It's kind of nice when you're working 94, 95. You can reach back and go 98 to 100.
Get that extra gear.
Now they'll go change up off of that.
And I think that's the development of German, the changeup. Because you go from 98 to 83.
It's a lot to cover,
right?
Isn't it?
You usually want it 8 to 10 miles an hour, and he's talking about 15 miles an hour difference between the two.
Curveball, 3-2. It's the evolution of a young pitcher, and Steve Foster has a bunch of them.
Oh, you've seen it from Kyle Freeland. It was from Antonio the other day.
Sensatella's a different guy than he was a year ago, and we know he was almost an all-star in the first half, so it's not like they were chopped liver, but they're adding, they're refining. 3-2. That ball's clubbed down the right field line, and it has enough hook on it that it's foul.
Somebody was happy with that souvenir.
To get to that pitch, you either are really quick and short to the baseball, or in the hitting vernacular, you cheat, which means you get started a little earlier.
I think
he's quick and short.
Yeah, I think the first one fits Kyle. Very short and quick to the baseball.
And that's a good pitch. Desmond with a good feed, and there are 2 outs.
Well, For the Win is brought to you by Pizza Ranch, and let's keep this pitching rolling. The numbers for the Rocky starters last 9 ball games: 5-0 with a 1.85 ERA. Batting average against is just 161. I mean, we have to look no further than what the starters did against the Giants in those 3 games. 3-0 with a 0.82 ERA in the sweep of the Giants.
That's amazing stuff. It's only the 3rd time in Rockies history that at Coors Field they allowed the opposition, or the opposition was able to score only 3 runs or less in a series. That's a strike. And the other 2 times, Pittsburgh in 02, Oakland in 06. 1-1 on Ryan Healy, and that's fouled off. Henley, I should say. Ryan Henley. Healy. I called him Henley and Healy. And you know what? We had him in spring training a few times this year.
Yeah.
And for some reason, when I wrote it in the book today, I wrote down Henley. What was I thinking? Don Henley? Was there an Eagles song in my ear?
I saw him last week at Coors Field.
That's right, you did.
Yeah.
Well, Ryan, truth be told, wanted to be a rock and roll guy when he was growing up, and so sometimes he calls himself Henley. And
all athletes want to be rock and roll guys, and all rock and roll, I think, want to be athletes, right?
Sure, that is true. It does seem that way.
He went.
Healy's gone, and Herman with another 1-2-3 inning. That's his first strikeout of the evening. Rockies up 3-0 in Seattle. Back in a moment.
From Longview, Washington, and attended Lower Columbia College. He played baseball there, is in the Hall of Fame, still holds a lot of records as a left-handed pitcher, but interesting story he told me today is that he actually almost went a few miles up the road from here to the University of Washington and gave up baseball entirely. He almost went there as a student, but the head coach at Lower Columbia said, hey, no, come here. I want to help you put some weight on, develop your repertoire. I think you could be a really good pitcher. Well, story tells itself, but he went there, played a few years there, went to San Diego State, eventually was drafted, and now he's the manager of the Rockies. So crazy to think how one decision could have changed the trajectory of the Colorado Rockies. Drew?
Yeah, and Buddy loves it up here. He's really proud of where he's from. About an hour and a half south of here. Closer actually to Portland, Oregon. He grew up a Blazers fan, not a Sonics fan. We're talking about that today. He goes, oh yeah. He goes, Lionel Hollins, Mo Lucas, Bill Walton. You look up grown league man in the dictionary, and you see Maurice Lucas.
I watched
that was
Lionel
a power
Hollins.
forward.
Yeah, I watched Lionel Hollins in college at ASU. He was there with Fat Lever and those guys.
They had Alton Lister, right?
Alton Lister.
They had like four or five guys go to the NBA off that team, right?
Yep.
Lafayette Lever. Boy, Fat was great. 2-2. And this is up the middle, and it's a base hit for Nolan. That is 6 hits now for the Rockies. Leadoff man aboard in the third with Cargo coming up.
Because Nolan has been going to right field so much this year, they really are not pulling that heavy shift on him where they have the second baseman right in that area because he'll shoot the gap to right field.
Cargo had a base hit the other way his first time up. They will shift with Cargo.
But Kyle Seager's different now. He was over at shortstop his first time up when Cargo hit. When he hit that kind of squibber down third base for a base hit.
It's not just the home runs for Cargo in interleague play. He's hit .325 in his career against the American League. And this ball in the air to fairly deep center field. Heredia makes the catch. Nolan stays put, 1 out. That'll bring up Trevor Story, folks. Join in on the conversation. Send us your comments, your thoughts, your questions on Twitter, and you must include the hashtag #ToyotaTalk. Last 30 ball games for Story, who singled in the first. He's hit .352. 5 home runs, 21 driven in.
44 extra base hits for Trevor on the year.
One 1-0 on Story. Trevor is killing it right now. That is a true statement.
Yes, indeed.
There's a comfort level under Buddy Black to the Rockies being out on the road. 26-21 on the road right now. Last year 41-40.
I think part of it too for Bud, he's not going to use any excuses. He set that tone early on and said, you know what, we're not going to use the excuse at Coors Field, and we're not going to use, well, you haven't really won out on the road prior to that. Everything is baseball.
I was talking to Jerry DiPoto about this. Jerry has a unique perspective on it. He's been the GM up here for 3 years. He played for the Rockies for 4 years. He was in the front office for the Rockies for a while. He feels without question that the 2 toughest travel cities in baseball, teams, the Rockies #1, Seattle #2, because everywhere Seattle goes, it's a long trip. Even when they run down to Oakland, it's more than 2 hours on the plane.
Yeah, usually over 50,000 miles a year for Seattle, and I've played up here, so I know what that travel's like. It's hard on the body.
This is rolled to third. Seager gets 1 and safe at first base. So Trevor with 2 outs. Will be at first base.
Well, Seager got rid of this ball in a good amount of time to let D. Gordon. Remember Gordon all those years in Miami playing second base.
He did a really nice job for them at center field.
Yeah, he did. I think they're going to come over and say, hey, what are we going to do? Danny acted the bench coach on the phone, told Scott, no, we're not going to challenge that.
Now, this is a great opportunity if Story gets a time to his liking from Tony Diaz to try to swipe a bag.
Well, runners have been successful 8 out of 9 times in stolen bases against King Felix this year.
Always helps when there's a left-handed batter up too.
Yes.
The reason you say that, the catcher has to clear himself just a little bit, especially if the pitch is inside.
Well, he also has to wait to hear from a position player, you know, first or second base, that he's going. He can't see him out of the corner of his eye.
Yeah, you can't see it peripherally. But going back to the travel thing, and for the Rockies, you know, a little more centrally located, but every trip they take, they're the only team in their time zone, Mountain Time Zone. and then the whole altitude, leaving altitude, coming back to altitude. You know what, Seager almost fielded that, and then he said, I'm not going to have a play. I'm going to let it go and hope for the best. And it went foul.
That's just years of experience from Kyle. He thought he was going to make a play until right here, and he said, no, I can't do that.
That came within about 3 inches of hitting the bag. And what trainers and strength coaches and front offices pay more attention to than ever is what it does to your sleep patterns.
Yes.
So when you're leaving altitude, coming back to altitude, it messes with it. For Seattle, they have a lot of late nights, early mornings when they come back to Seattle. And we all know, in whatever our vocation is, that consistently, if you're not getting proper sleep, it affects performance.
Well, and some guys, yeah, they can sleep in hotel rooms, beds, pillows, all of that. Other guys, not so much. I mean, you could sleep anywhere. You could have a train coming by and you're asleep on the plane. Other guys can't do that.
That's right. And of course, those seats are like king-size beds for me. They pitch out with Story going, and they're not going to get him anyhow. Story staying on the bag. Segura had to field a ball, catch a ball that was on the wrong side of the base. Now Story's shaken up.
I think he's hurt because he did the swim move at second base. And I don't mean to hurt seriously, but watch the left hand. Nope, you're not getting that. You're going to get the right hand. And then somehow he keeps his fingertips on the bag. Notice how he changed the path too. He had started out inside, glanced over his shoulder, saw it was a pitch out.
I don't know how he stayed. He stayed in contact, either a foot or a finger, the whole time. 3-2 on par. Another opportunity for Gerardo to drive in a run. Had a good at bat his first time that ended up with a fly ball to Heredia. 10 to first inning with 2 men on. First inning that saw the Rockies score on the home run by Blackman. 11th stolen base for Story.
11 for 15. It's the 43rd stolen base for the Rockies this year.
The other thing you're forcing Hernandez into is a number of pitches early in this game.
Yeah, 60 for King Felix. Okay, fingertips, fingertips.
And Segura's doing the right thing.
He's trying to push. Trying to push the hands out.
Gives you an idea what kind of speed Story has, though, on a pitch out.
And it was a good throw from Felix to the catcher. I mean, up high, right at the shoulders, right where you want it.
Three and 2 on Gerardo. And that is gloved by Gordon. He stole a run. He did it last night, and he just made a sensational play to take a base hit and an RBI from Gerardo Parra.
choose from, including the Shaneco Cabana, Jack Daniels Terrace Loft, and Terrace Deck. Go to Rockies.com/suites today.
Matt Gamble at the plate. Matt has already laid out twice in this game, diving for a double by Tapia and a triple by Walters. The one that he tried to dive and make the catch on with Walters, he ended up crashing into the wall at the same time. I didn't know he was going to get up from that one. It's like the crash test dummy, man. He plays hard. 1-2. He's hitting .372 this year at home in 27 ball games.
Just .216 out on the road. Ooh,
there's that changeup. Just
well, and that was a pitch on the Subaru strike zone that King Felix had a couple times. One in particular to Charlie.
Emergency hack on a 97-mile-an-hour fastball. DJ flips to Desmond. Well, the early returns, I know it's only 7 hitters in. Looks like he's got the whole arsenal again, the command of the whole arsenal.
Yeah, that's good to see, but I still go back to that throw out from Tony Walters in the first inning.
Big.
I think that changed the complexion maybe of how Germán is feeling after the year. If he steals second base, nobody out, runner at second.
Yeah, I couldn't agree with you more. All of a sudden, you know, an early marker on and Nolan would feel terrible about it because it was an error. Instead, no harm, no foul. 1 ball, 1 strike on Chris Herman.
We know some of the issues with the first inning runs allowed by the Rockies, and Germán with his over 10 ERA in the first inning. But out on the road, it's been a wonderful sight to see Germán with this .276. Of course, Chad right behind him at .288.
Herman lifts this ball down the left field line to Gerardo, and officially that is a fair ball. It's also officially the second out of the 3rd inning. And that'll bring up Guillermo Heredia, the center fielder.
Heredia with a couple hits last night in the game, including a double down the left field line when he wasn't in the original starting lineup. He's filling in for Mitch Haniger. This guy's a dead pole hitter.
That's just a smidgen low, 1-0. In there at the bottom of the zone, 1-1. So we mentioned that yesterday the Mariners beat the Angels of Mike Trout 4-1. Oh, that's a swinging strike 1-2. So they're now 6-3 against the Angels this year. All 3 series so far have been played in Seattle, which means the next 10 games against the Angels will be played in Anaheim. I don't know if I've ever seen that before. Inside your division, usually, you know,
it's at least 2-1.
Split up. Well, yeah.
I mean, 2 series at one place, 1 at the other.
Right.
It's going to happen. Not all
you're gonna
3.
play 3 in a row at one place,
yeah.
and then the second half, the next 3 will be at the other place. But that's the deal this year between Seattle and the Angels. That is foul. Good play.
Very nice play. Leaning over the rail with your bare hand. Gives it to a Mariners fan. It looks like he was wearing a Quebec Nordique hockey shirt. All right. Well, don't fall over. He's got it. Iowa Hawkeyes represented. Man, everybody's going tonight.
Everybody. 2-2. I wonder how many folks in Washington make the trek up a couple hours north to Vancouver to go see the Canucks play.
That's just quite a few. There's a lot of people from Vancouver come down to watch the Mariners play.
And speaking of that, today a fan at the ballpark stopped me, and he said they watch every night from Ogden, Utah. Big Rockies fans.
Wide base of fans.
2-2 slider, see you later. Yeah, he's got the whole repertoire going. Marquez is pitching exceptionally well once again. No blemishes through 3 innings. The Rockies up 3-0. Subaru, love it's what makes a Subaru by UC Health, live extraordinary, and by T-Mobile. Show your military appreciation and use the hashtag #HatsOffForHeroes, and T-Mobile will donate $1 for each post. What is that, Huey? Is that a fish that you caught?
Yeah.
I love fish.
It's a mugfish.
I don't know if I needed to see his head or his tongue. I've had
Pike Market was
monkfish is really good.
Yeah, but it was hopping today. I mean, there were people everywhere, 5, 6, 7 deep, watching the people throw the fish.
Did you catch a fish?
No, I couldn't get close enough. I had to like peek around everybody to see what was going on.
1-1 on Ian Desmond. Actually 8 over there at Pike Street Market today. This is bounce pass Stu Cole foul. Rockies got a run in the first on a Charlie Blackmon home run, his 16th. They scored 2 in the second. Raimel Tapia, a long double to right, his first hit in 2018. Tony Walters followed that up with a booming triple. He would score on a LeMahieu fly ball to deep right. One, 2 on Desmond. You know, it's been nice, Huey, is that the Rockies, with that great sweep of the Giants at home, it has been partnered with the top teams in the division, namely Arizona, losing quite a bit. So now it's LA and Arizona in a dead heat, and the Rockies have closed to within 3.5, joined by San Francisco in the very tight and competitive National League West. 2-2 back up the middle. D. Gordon is there, but that's going to eat him up and get into center field for a base hit. I don't know if he would have been able to throw out Desmond, even though D made that great play last inning. From his position, I don't think he's throwing him out.
Yeah, he's saying wow because of the hop that he got on the very last one right before he tried to catch that. Now, he's not going to get Ian, but Segura with that play against Gerardo. We saw a diving catch in last night's game, if you saw the highlights from D. Gordon, to save a couple runs in the game against the Angels.
Like the thought by Tapia. He'll draw in Seager a little bit, create a little more space on the left side. Segura's cheating up the middle. Second career game as a DH for Tapia. Last August he DH'd in Cleveland. 1 for 3 in that ball game. That's a strike. 1-1. Desmond, like Story, a threat to run at first.
Ian 7 for 10 on the year. A little less likely to have a pitch out on a 1-1 count.
Two and one.
But what I could see on this pitch is a hit and run.
The action pitch, the 2-1 pitch.
Well, you know they're not going to pitch out. You know King Felix is going to be around the zone. You can open up a hole.
Not unusual that you'd get a pick there either. Attempt to bunt that.
I think he wants. Yeah, I think he'd like to have that one back because the ball started to go away from him, and by the time he decided that I really don't want to try to bunt this, it was too late. But here's what you do if you're Ian. Look for a ball down in the dirt. If you see Herman drop to his knees, just take off.
Desi's going, and it's fouled off.
I remember the other day, too, at home, that Ian had the delayed steal with the left-handed batter.
I asked him about that, and he said, you know, I like to do that every once in a while, see if he said, keep them on their toes, see if anybody falls asleep.
Well, for a second, the catcher did fall asleep. He dropped to his knees, but still had the strong enough arm to throw it all the way to second base. So it almost worked if that throw hadn't been perfect.
Yeah, Buster Posey ended up making a really good play.
You know who really liked that play a lot? Lou Piniella.
Did he do that much?
He did a lot. He would do it more with 2 outs, but with a left-handed batter at the plate. Because, as you said, the catcher loses his peripheral of that runner for 2 or 3 strides. So what does he do? He drops to his knee, gets ready to toss the ball back to the pitcher, and then by that time, you've already stolen second.
This is lifted to left center field. And that's the first out. Desmond will return to first. That'll bring up Tony Walters.
Well, Tony's triple in the second inning. Thought for a moment that he had taking it over the wall. Instead, it goes off the wall, and then the throw coming in hits him right in the right arm, allowing him to reach third for his first triple this year.
Tony started to run out of gas there between second and third.
Somebody jumped on his back.
There's a strike on Tony. That had to feel good for Walters. You know, when you're not playing every day, and trying to keep that swing going.
Timing so difficult.
It's outside, 1-1. Desmond takes off, line drive, it's going to turn into a double play. Tough break. That'll end the inning. The Rockies in the middle of the fourth have a 3-0 lead at Safeco. With the skipper in the dugout, and Buddy Black, native of the state of Washington, joins us. Buddy, looks like Herman has the whole arsenal working once again.
Yeah, good fastball, Drew. You're right. I think the curve and the slider into play. A few changeups, but overall, you're right, man. The mix is good, and they seem to be on.
And I think the approach tonight against King Felix has been spot on, too. Charlie clipping him with the home run, but the guys are just taking what he's giving them.
Yeah, we got to get the ball up. You know, he's so good at keeping the ball down and getting outs below the zone. We got to make sure that we get him above the knee and get him mid-thigh.
All the folks in Lower Columbia out in strength tonight.
Yeah, they're in droves. Lower Columbia, Mark Morris High, Cascade Junior High, you name it, brother. They're coming.
Cascade Junior High.
That's right, Huey.
What elementary school? You leave out the elementary school?
Columbia Heights.
Oh, Columbia Heights. That a baby.
He never forgets anything.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Oh, well.
All right, boys.
Good luck, buddy.
Take care, buddy. I thought he was going to start rattling off first-grade teacher, second-grade teacher. D. Gordon takes strike one as we begin the bottom of the fourth inning. Buddy is on the right, wearing number 10.
I love the glove there.
And he was left-handed even back then.
Can you believe that?
0-2. Usually people grow into being left-handed, but Buddy was left-handed from Jump Street. 2 strikes on the former Dodger and former Marlin, D. Gordon. Also a former center fielder, because when Robbie Cano comes back, the speculation, as we said, is that he'll move to first base and that D. Gordon will stay put at second.
Well, I think he's shown some of the plays that he's made. The Seattle's also 26-9 when Gordon has been starting at second.
0-2. I think when you lose a player of the stature of Robbie Cano, especially in the fashion, I mean, a shock to the baseball world, much less here in Seattle. Suspended 80 games for testing positive for a banned substance. They'll get him back mid-August. You thought, oh man, Seattle's off to a nice start, but this is really going to affect them. Well, as you mentioned, around that time, the Mariners have just continue to play great baseball. Not good baseball, great baseball.
18 games over 500 since Cano's been out. A lot of the credit goes to that man right there, Scott Service, the way he's kept this club together.
service a Rocky, albeit briefly. 2000, Scott got 101 at bats in a Rockies uniform.
Still makes his home in Colorado. All three of his kids went to Douglas County High School.
This is caught by Story. Took a base hit from D. Gordon. He said, not so fast. You took a hit from Parra. I got to take one away from you.
Not just the range of Trevor is remarkable. The hard thing when you're going away too is when do I, running laterally, left or right, when do I take off? When do I leave my feet to try to get this ball? It's one thing if it's a line drive right over your head, so you can kind of time it like a rebound in basketball.
And the other part of it is, to your description, and I think it's a marvelous one, because you're not just jumping up, you're kind of jumping across.
Sideways, right.
Yeah.
And that's why it's hard to make those plays.
Well, you make Gene Segura look bad. You know you've made a good pitch. 0-2 slider, or 0-1 slider. Here's that catch again.
It's a great look on the Subaru Supremo and caught it right into the webbing.
Line drive, right center field. Cargo's gonna snare it somehow, and the ball was past him and holds Segura to a single. First hit of the night for the Mariners. Fitting that it would come from Segura, who's such a marvelous hitter. But that was a great stab by Cargo.
Yeah, 113 hits on the year for Gene Segura. But if you're Herman, now you're saying, wait, I had him 0-2, and then I put a fastball away from him, and then Cargo, he's got to go get this at the wall. It's going to be a double. He catches this ball, as you said, Drew, behind him. His back is completely turned towards home plate.
Now Denard Span. Rockies know Span well from his days in a Giants uniform.
That Span in the trade with Tampa.
Well, they got Colome also, the closer at the time for Tampa. He has not pitched as well up here yet, but Jerry DiPoto liked the direction of his club, and rather than wait to the typical time frame where teams make trades near the trade deadline around the All-Star break, he was proactive in May, and that's fouled off.
Well, really now, if you look at the American League, there's like 4 teams that have separated themselves from everybody else. And maybe Cleveland's starting to climb in a little bit into the conversation. But it's Houston, Seattle. Of course, we know what they're doing in Boston and New York.
Yeah, and Cleveland, just because the rest of the division's not very good. There's the 1-1. And again, it's fouled off, 1-2. And then you look, as we did earlier, at the National League West, and you have 4 teams. Nobody has a spectacular record, but all 4 teams, I'm trying to dismiss San Diego, but the 4 top teams all have designs on playing in the postseason, and they should. 4 good, high-quality teams. 1-2 on Span, just outside at 97. Rockies have played only 5 interleague games, and the Mariners have played only 2. Rockies and Mariners catching up to do in interleague play.
Rockies' 3rd fewest amount of interleague games.
And the Mariners the fewest. Mariners will be in Denver next week for a 3-game set. 2-2, and that's going to be a base hit. So it's first and second, 1 out. And that'll bring up Nelson Cruz.
Well, that was the professional at bat from Denard. Kind of pulled 2 pitches foul and then stayed back on the curveball.
got Cruz to hit a ground ball to short his first time up. Doug Eddings going to come out and break up this conference. First 2 hits of the night for Seattle. They come with 1 out in the 4th inning with the Rockies up 3-0. That is hit a long way foul down the right field line.
They just decided to attack Nelson first pitch. You can attack guys when it's 97.
A swing and a miss, and Herman helping out Tony.
That was
Gene
good.
Segura went about 40 feet from second base and then shut it down, so no advancement.
That was a good piece of hustle from Herman. It was kicked away by Tony. Denard Span also got about halfway down to second base because he thought Segura was going to go.
Oh, and 2 on Cruz. Got him to chase. Boy, Tony Walters, sometimes it's a bluff. He wanted that slider in the dirt. He got it in the dirt. And because it looked like a strike for about 58 feet, he got the swing and miss from Cruz for the 2nd out.
And that's 3 strikeouts tonight for Herman. All 3 have been in this hard slider. Also, Tony's calling for it. He didn't try to catch it. You know, he dropped down. I'm just blocking it. That's all I'm trying to do. That was a wonderful pitch sequence from those 2 guys.
And not out of the woods yet. You have a professional hitter coming up now in Kyle Seager. DJ will drop into short right field. Segura and Span on base. Look what Tyler Anderson said following his 2nd straight gorgeous performance, that he said, I have a great defense behind me. I got to get ahead and stay ahead. And
attack.
And not pitch away from contact to contact. And I think that is playing in Herman's mind as well.
Why not
after guys.
Use your strengths?
Yeah. Sensatella did it the other day.
You know, not every team has that luxury. You know, some teams have poor defense, so you're like, well, you know, if it's hit, is it going to be an out? Where
or you never say it publicly, but I'm sure you play with some guys and you go, you know, in a key situation, I hope the ball doesn't find that guy.
Exactly. I mean, you don't say it, but you're thinking it. You know, for this pitching staff, they got to be thinking it and saying it.
Well, the only guy
I know
who
where
actually
you're going.
said it was Pedro Guerrero.
Donated to Steve Sachs.
Or me.
Or me.
Yeah. Key situation in a Dodger game late. Don't hit it to, he was asked after the game, what were you thinking in the 9th inning? It's a 1-run game. He said, don't hit it to Saxy and don't hit it to me. It's honest.
Well, that he was.
1-2 on Seager.
Like
by Tony.
I don't know if it slipped by. Kind of looked like Tony was really fought that, like it was a cross-up. But he didn't go out there, so it must not have been. Well, this is a pitch. You don't want it to get to 3-2 and allow the runners to take off.
Got him on a breaking ball. Well done, Herman Marquez. 2 strikeouts with 2 runners on. We march on to the 5th. Rockies up 3-0, top of the order coming.
Carlos Gonzalez and Felix Hernandez's friendship. Well, we had the chance to ask Cargo the depths of their relationship.
Felix is a big friend of mine, and we know each other since we were probably like 5 years old. Even though we're far away from each other and growing up in Venezuela, but it seems like on every competition he was in it, and I always face him, and I had success when we were young, and then now every time I see him in the big leagues, he always tells me, you know what, I can't wait to face you because I'm gonna get you out, and you're gonna pay for all the home runs and all the damage you did when I was young. So it's always fun to, just to think about, all the past and all the opportunities that we had just playing little leagues now in the biggest level is special.
Well, here at Safeco, they love Felix as well. They have a section dedicated to cheering him on. You see all the yellow shirts behind me. They're a part of the King's Court, which is a section every time he pitches that fans show up, wear matching shirts, and then also hold up this sign that says, "Let's go Felix," so you can look for these guys being waved when Felix records an out. Drew?
Yeah, well, they've been able to do that for 14 years. That's a swing and a miss. DJ should be able to reach. He will. And Chris Herman's not happy about it. I don't know if they'll call it wild pitch or pass ball, but they're going to call it now wild pitch. DJ reaches. That is the first strikeout for Hernandez, who used to rack up strikeouts, but now he's averaging just a little more than 7 strikeouts per 9 innings. Well down from what he did during the height of his career.
And that was the King Felix changeup. And off the wrist of Herman.
See if the Rockies can take advantage. Up 3-0. Here's Charlie outside. Blackman a home run in the first and a fly ball to left in the second. Last 46 interleague play games, he's hitting .360. This is pulled through the right side despite 3 infielders on the right side. Now it's first and second, nobody out. Second hit of the night for Blackman.
And usually you can go first to third on this, but because it was hit so hard, the DJ had to jump out of the way, make sure it didn't hit him, so he had no momentum going to second, and then just wisely just shut it down. Don't try to make something that's not there.
Traffic for Nolan, first and second, without an out. Nolan's 1 for 2. He came into this ball game amazingly against the Mariners in his career 4 for 40.
Yeah, I had to look at that twice because I thought they'd made a misprint. Nolan's never 4 for 40 against anybody.
He's not you know, 14 for 40 against many. I mean, he's usually much better than that. So he's going to start carving into those numbers. Sitting on 63 RBIs, tied for the National League lead. Got a pitch to hit, worked underneath it a little bit. DJ's going to tag. I don't know if he can move up here. Nope.
Not on Heredia's arm.
Cargo a base hit his first time and a fly ball to Heredia, so he's 1 for 2. Speed pitch caught the outside corner for Doug Eddings, and it's 0-1.
He's gotten that outside corner a couple times tonight. Right off the Subaru strike zone.
Down. '88th pitch already for Hernandez.
Elias, the left-hander, out in the bullpen for the Mariners. The 88 pitches. King Felix last start had 81 pitches. The start before 81, 94. He's gone over 100 just 5 times this year in his 18 starts.
2-2 on Cargo. 3-2. DJ and Charlie on board. Softer, right?
Yeah, well, that's what he's kind of become now.
Yep.
When he's in trouble, he'll throw soft. He'll throw the changeup, throw the curveball.
Three-two, and he got him a chase. He went change up away, 2 outs.
Well, fans looking for a unique venue for your next private event, Coors Field is available year-round for special events, and most areas of the ballpark can be reserved. Go to Rockies.com/events for more information.
Story is single, and he grounded into a fielder's choice. Trevor leading the league in 2-out RBIs.
36 2-out RBIs.
Actually, he's leading all of baseball in that. 8 more than Javi Baez of the Cubs and JD Martinez of the Boston Red Sox. Trevor should be an all-star. Trevor will be an all-star. That, to me, is a no-brainer. He'll get voted in by his peers, the coaches, managers.
It'll all be announced on Sunday.
Yeah, look forward to that. It's just interesting to watch Hernandez. Tap me on the shoulder next time he throws a fastball.
Might be a while. Or if it is, it's just kind of a show me type of fastball.
He's trying to get through this 5th inning. 2-0. Breaking ball, and it's hit off the end of the bat to left field. He'll get Story. The Rockies will leave 2 on in the 5th. They lead 2-0 on a gorgeous Seattle evening. Here's our CenturyLink high-speed challenge question of the night. That's the Boeing factory. So it got us wondering, since we're in the midst of where so many planes are made. There's a breaking ball for a strike from Marquez against Ryan Healy. Which seat do you prefer on an airplane? The window? Don't bother me. Middle? Yeah, that's going to be popular. Yeah. That's got to be 0, right? Who's going to write, yeah, I love being in the middle?
Sometimes you just get stuck in the middle because you don't check in on time, Drew.
I don't have, well, if I'm on the right airlines, I have a little status now.
Okay.
Don't worry about that. Good story. It's pretty good.
Well, I just like the way he kind of worked through that. So what do you think? I know what you're going to answer just because we've traveled so much together. You're a window, don't bother me, because you need to get your sleep.
I have a strategy to this. Like most things in life.
Please tell us, enlighten us.
So if it's a late flight, like last night, I didn't fly with the team 2 days ago because I wanted an extra day at home.
Right.
So it was a late flight. It was actually on the flight you guys were on
the day before.
Wednesday night. It was a 10-something flight. So I wanted a window so I can sleep.
Right.
Which I did. Wheels up to wheels down. If it's during the day or far enough along in the day that I'm wide awake, then I want to be on the aisle so I can make my quick escape. DJ's got this.
I'm aisle all the time because of my long legs.
I have the same issue with long legs, but I just shake it up. I told you earlier, those seats, man, they're like king-size beds.
I know, it's nice.
Yeah.
You can stretch out.
Yeah. Oh, it's lovely. There goes our personal plane.
Yep.
I don't know where it's going. It's supposed to be stay put.
Yeah, I think somebody just said, too, you had the aisle, then you got to worry about getting run over by the beverage cart.
I
fear out
woken
there.
Up every once in a while, but
banging into the knee.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then if I'm in a real social mood, then I pick the middle.
No, you do not.
Chris Herman at the plate, a 2-0 count. That's been rare tonight as Herman has filled up the strike zone throughout the evening. Rockies working on 23 plus scoreless innings for their starters.
81 pitches for Herman tonight. 59 strikes.
And that number kind of surprised me. I was like, how did he even get that high? That's another strike, 2-2. The whole arsenal. We said it with Buddy last inning. We noticed, I think, after the second inning, he has command as he did in Los Angeles of all 4 pitches. And this is going to sneak through for a base hit for Herman. Just the 3rd hit, all singles tonight for Seattle. And that'll bring up the 9-hole hitter, Guillermo Heredia. Hey, watch your favorite isotope stars like Ramel Tapia make their journey to the big leagues with the Rockies. AT&T Sportsnet is your home for Rockies baseball all season long and is available on most cable and satellite packages. Visit AT&TSportsnet.com for channel information. Heredia struck out his first time up.
Albuquerque won yesterday 2-0 over Tacoma.
Are they
Seattle?
are they in Tacoma?
No, they're in Albuquerque.
Okay.
Yeah. But Tacoma, the AAA affiliate of the Mariners.
With Murphy going on the paternity list, I was going to say if they're in Tacoma, they
make it nice. You can send an Uber down to get him.
Yeah, they can get a guy here quickly.
I think the Uber charge would be a lot from Albuquerque up here, though. Who was a football player that did that one time? He took a Uber from like Chicago to Buffalo or something.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember
Somebody
who that was.
or a taxi.
Dougie's
There's a
gonna look that up.
taxi.
You know me. Every once in a while, we'll get in a cab. You know, we'll be in Seattle. 4th Street in San Francisco.
Yeah. They don't find that funny.
No, but we're entertained, so. This is a bouncer to 3rd. And Nolan throws the fastball across, and that's all for the Mariners in the 5th inning. Rockies shutting out Seattle 3-0 behind Germán Marquez.
Another 3-2. He's got him. Ball game over. What a victory for the Rockies tonight and for Kyle Freeland. Oh, hits it in the air to deep center field. Hernandez going back. He's going to run out of room. 3-run jet. Nolan Arenado. Cuevas has it, and the Rockies have swept the Giants.
That's our Coors Light refreshing finish. 3 straight refreshing finishes. And the Rockies hopefully on their way to another Coors Light refreshing finish. They have rode the man on the right through 5 innings. He has pitched beautifully once again. And the Mariners will have to go to their bullpen. King Felix gives up 3 runs in 5 innings. And Roenis Elias is now on the left-hander for Seattle. And first up for the Rockies will be Gerardo Parra, robbed of a hit his last time up, which would have driven in the Rockies' 4th run. D. Gordon made a diving stab of a line shot 1 hopper and then threw to first. Fastball's outside at 94, ball 1.
Yeah, and that's what he sits. Averages 94 on the fastball, 86 on the curveball, or excuse me, changeup, 76 on the curveball.
And that's outside. Doug Eddings keeps saying what we're saying. That's outside.
That's outside.
Parra, Desmond, Tapia here in the Rockies half of the 6th. And D. Gordon, 1 out.
MLB.TV is now available at a low price for just $82.99. Watch every out-of-market regular season game live or on demand. Blackout and other restrictions apply. Visit MLB.TV to take advantage of this special offer.
Final line, Huey, for King Felix. 5 innings, 3 runs, 8 hits. Did not walk anybody. Struck out only 2. Curveball misses outside on Desmond. Ian a base hit his last time up.
And I think that was the key. Just 2 strikeouts tonight for Felix.
In the air to right, and I'm not sure Gamble understands that there are walls surrounding the field.
He doesn't.
I admire that.
Talk about running through a wall. I think that's what he's thinking.
Yeah.
He tried to dive for the 1 out in right field off the bat of
Tapia.
Thank you. And then Tony hit the triple in right center field, and then that foul ball.
Yeah, and he tried to run through the wall on Tony's triple. Ball and a strike on Desmond. 2-1. And this ball to deep short. Low throw, and that'll be an error, and Desmond will move up. Segura knew he had to hurry and had to get something on it with Desmond running. He fired low. Healy couldn't come up with it, and the Rockies have a 1-out base runner at second.
They're going a base hit for Ian Desmond, and then an error from Segura allowing Desmond to reach second base. So Desi will take the base hit, and then it'll be the 11th error on Segura. Reminiscent a little bit of the other day, Brandon Crawford throwing the ball away.
Well, Huey, you played a ton of shortstop at the major league level, and I think sometimes Rockies fans may forget, because we've watched Story, we've watched Tulowitzki. That throw from where Gene Segura is a long throw.
It is, and then you're thinking about the runner getting down the line, so you think, well, I got to make sure I hump up on this a little bit, try to throw it a little bit harder. When you do that, 2 things are going to happen. 1, you're either going to sail it over the head, or 2, you're going to bury it because you really think I got to get on top of this ball, and then you throw something over to first. It's really an in-between hop and not an easy pick for the first baseman. Drop down sidearm action from Elias.
It would be great to get that fourth run across. The Rockies have had a couple of opportunities to add on. 3 runs, 9 hits. No runs, 3 hits for Seattle. Look out.
Oh, that hit Desi right in the helmet.
Knocked his helmet off. Now hopefully Desi is just fine.
Right on the side, back side of the helmet.
And I'm trying to think, because that was with the side without the flap.
He doesn't wear that anymore. He's kind of.
No, I'm saying the.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, then not the. I was thinking the extra extended flap.
Watch, where does this catch him?
Well, that is.
Oh,
on
you know, it was the other side.
Yeah.
Fortunately. Tapia stayed on that breaking ball. Yeah.
You're gonna smell the bat now. Everything's staying away on the Subaru strike zone.
They just changed that Desmond ground ball to straight E6. And ball 4. So 2 on for Walters. So Desi will be bummed about that. He just lost his base hit. Let's check in downstairs again with Taylor.
Hey, Drew, I just want to bring you some good news for the Little Rockies down in the minor league system. Check this out. 2 guys from the Rockies organization selected to the Futures game. Brendan Rodgers, number 6 prospect, is actually the highest ranked prospect on the U.S. roster. And then Jesus Tinoco, a right-handed pitcher that the Rockies acquired in the Tulowitzki deal, will represent the world team. Guys?
Yeah, good for those 2. That's great. Brendan Rodgers and Jesus Tinoco. Jesus has been up and down. He throws out some starts that make you say, wow. And then, like any young player still developing, there's been some rough ones as well. He's got a great body and a great arm. He's 6'4", can create angles.
And a reminder,
pitcher.
It was part of the Tulo trade with Toronto.
This ball's lined to center field, and it'll get down, and it'll run to the wall. Tapia is following Desmond home. Walters may have his 2nd triple of the night. How many of you wrote that down today? Yeah, I got 2 triples for Tony Walters. 5-0 Colorado. Atta boy, Tony.
How about 3 RBIs tonight, too, for Tony? That's pretty good, huh, Drew? It's worth repeating.
And left on left.
Tony's thinking, is he going to catch it? Is he going to catch it? And then I like Tapia, too. He gets all the way almost to second base. See that he's going to miss it. He's right on the heels of Ian. Subaru Supermo stays connected with the swing, gets out, and then finishes nice and high.
And now another opportunity for DJ. A productive out will make it 6-0. He had a scoring fly ball in the 2nd, and he's going to probably do better than that here. This ball to deep right field over the head of Gamble, and it's a ground rule double. Another ribby for DJ, and the Rockies lead it 6-0 over the Mariners.
How about that double, too, for DJ? Career double number 150. The at-bats tonight by the Rockies,
outstanding.
They have been. I mean, from first pitch to this pitch. DJ just driving the ball again to right field. That wasn't just, oh, yeah, I'm going to try to hit for a sac fly like he did against King Felix. That was, I'm going to try to drive this run in with a knock.
Mel Stottlemyre visiting at the mound. DJ 33 ribbies now. about this for Tony Walters? He becomes the first Rockies catcher ever to produce 2 triples in a game. Charlie spins out of the way, 1-0. Two hits tonight for Blackmon's got the average to 279. Won a batting title last year. Guy at second won a batting title 2 years ago. Nice to have those guys up top.
For Tony, it's been a rough year for him. He's never.
I love it. Tony 3-bags.
Yeah.
Perfect. Well, they may have a new nickname for him because they call him Papers downstairs in the clubhouse. Tony's always got a bunch of papers he's studying, scouting reports, and the like. 1-2. If your nickname's associated with being studious, take it as a compliment, right?
For sure.
And the 1-2 fans Blackmon. So there's 2 outs, and that'll bring up Arenado.
I was looking down in the Mariners dugout to see if they might just put Nolan on. I know it's 6-0.
You got Cargo on deck,
yeah.
So I understand what you're thinking is.
Nolan.
I'm looking down at Scott Service like you are. And
well, I think maybe after this next pitch.
If it gets to 2-0, they may. And DJ will race on that wild pitch to third.
Scott's not looking like he's trying to get the catcher's attention. And now, with DJ moving up and Nolan, the way he hits left-handers.
I'm a little surprised at this.
I just thought they would do it.
Honestly, if it was 8-9, 10-0, I'd see.
Yes.
You know what? We're trying to get outs, get through it. Two and one. You hope 6 is plenty good enough, especially the way Herman's throwing the baseball, but you never stop competing.
No.
You never stop fighting.
Well, and it's still just a 6th inning.
Right, and it's a much better matchup for Seattle. They got lucky because that ball was barreled to deep left center field. Nolan's going to come back and say, I missed that by a grain. Rockies come up with 3 in the 6th. They double their lead. 6-love as we go to the bottom of the 6th. TNT Sportsnet is brought to you by Southwest Airlines. Low fares, no hidden fees. That's transparency. And Jeff Houston at Mariners fantasy camp about 25 years ago stole a uni.
I did. Don't tell anybody.
Look at you. Oh,
wow.
Did you go yard on that swing?
I think I did. I had to have.
Yeah, of course. Baby.
Well, that was the year, though, I had signed with the Rockies, and they didn't put me on the roster, so I was Rule 5 from Colorado to Seattle. So that's how I got to the Mariners, because I wanted to keep trying to play for the Rockies, and stuff just kept happening.
Well, now you get to play for the Rockies.
I know, it's great. It's finally.
There you go. You enjoyed your time up here.
I did. You know, Seattle's a wonderful place when it's not raining.
Right. And in the summer.
The summer is beautiful.
I always say this.
Yeah.
Half the population would try to live in Seattle if the weather was always like it is in July, August, and September.
And some wonderful teammates up here. Obviously, Ken Griffey Jr. being #1. Jay Buhner.
This is going to be a base hit for D. Gordon.
I mean, Edgar Martinez.
Well, Edgar's with Seattle in the dugout now as their hitting instructor. Hitting coach. Edgar and Jr. with their numbers appropriately retired.
Alex Rodriguez was on that team, too. I mean, we had a lot of...
Get some talent.
We had some talent, didn't win. That's not good, though.
Mike Blowers, right?
No, Mike wasn't here at the time.
Oh, Mike was gone in it? Okay. Gene Segura had the first hit with 1 out in the 4th inning.
Joey
for
Cora.
Seattle.
Joey Cora was on the team.
Good player.
Dan Wilson.
Alex's older brother.
Yeah, Joey is managing. There's Mike Blowers. Mike and I played a long time with the Expos, but Joey's managing in the White Sox system in the Carolina League.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Runs in the family.
Uh-huh.
Change up. 0-2.
We're on tonight. 14 of 20 on first pitch strikes. 93 pitches, just 25 balls for Herman.
Good slider.
That he's had all night. All 4 of his strikeouts tonight have come on the slider.
Check on Gordon. He was thrown out in the 1st inning. Reached on an error by Nolan, and he tried to swipe second, and Tony Walters had a great transition to cut him down. And deal move up. That'll be a wild pitch. He's not only fast and a great base stealer, he's a really good base runner.
Instinctual.
Yep.
I think that's what sets D apart from some other guys. He has the instincts of when to run. He's not only fast, but he pulls it all together.
One-two on Segura.
Jake McGee just started getting loose in the Rockies bullpen.
And you want to see Herman work through this 6th inning. The pitch count's going to get him.
Remember, a couple times, though, he's thrown. Had one start 113 pitches, another start 112. His high this year is 114. Also his career high at 114.
Slowly hit to 3rd. A lot of mishit ground balls. That slider, as you have remarked on a couple of occasions tonight, has been outstanding for.
Well, when you see some Herman. Of the good hitters, and they sometimes great hitters like Segura, to feeble swing at it. Hey, Trevor was happy too that last hop was off the grass and it didn't hit the lip between the grass and the dirt.
One out. Gordon now at third base, and Denard Span, he has a single and bouncer to first tonight. '97 outside. Oh, remember earlier you were talking about the guy, I don't know how we got on this, but the guy,
talking about an
player.
Uber from Tacoma up here and how it would be okay, but not from Albuquerque to here.
It was, the football player was Sharice Wright, and he missed his flight from Chicago to Buffalo. That's foul.
Uh-huh.
So he jumped in a cab. 8 hours later, he was in Buffalo.
So you know how much he spent on that cab ride? It was $632, and he gave the guy a $300 tip.
Well, they were old friends by the time they got to Buffalo. Your basic 900, your 900.
Yeah, but he's saying, okay, how much is
ride.
my fine if I miss the first day or whatever day of training camp it was?
Yeah, he still came out ahead. That's a strike. 1-2. Pitch number 101.
Still at 98 miles an hour on that last pitch. At 101st pitch of the game, 98 miles an hour.
He has been fun to watch. That kicks away. Gordon coming home. They're going to get him. Out!
Because he didn't slide.
He didn't slide. Herman made the tag. What a play by Walters to get to it quickly. And what a great job by Herman to make sure he got to the plate. And Doug Eddings with the emphatic out call.
And there was no argument from D. Gordon.
I think he was just shocked that there was even a play made on him.
I think so too. Subaru Supermo. No slide. Thank you very much. I'm going to try to leap. He's way out.
Yeah, not even close.
Nope. He slides. He's safe. He gets underneath that tag. But he decided to go feet first. And I think you're right, Drew. I don't think he was expecting that play to be that close.
3-2. And this ball's hit a long way to right. And Span's hit it out. I was just going to say, they have a great chance to continue with the shutout. But Span hits a solo home run. His 8th of the year, 40 ribbies, and it's 6-1.
And the 4th in a Mariners uniform. 3-2, challenged him with the fastball, and he left it belt high. But Denard hits it out.
That ends a 24-inning shutout stretch for the rotation, which is the second longest in club history. The only time that the rotation had a longer stretch was in 2002. You see it there, 28 innings. 2-0 on Nelson Cruz.
But he was just encouraging Herman from the dugout. Said, come on, let's go. He doesn't want to take him out, but Cruz gets on, he might be forced to.
You know, it's so strange. I remember when we put the pitch count up and it was above 80, I said, I even had our truck check. I said, is that accurate? Because you're saying there haven't been deep counts. He hasn't walked guys. There have only been a few hits. You're saying, how did the pitch count run up there where he's at 107 in the 6th inning?
Yeah, maybe the 4th a little bit when there was a couple guys on. But he's got 8 ground ball outs tonight. We mentioned the 4 strikeouts. Just 4 hits, 5 hits allowed.
3-2 on Cruz, and he popped him up, foul ground. Tony not going to have a play.
This is where you take the deep breath, focus, don't try to overthrow a baseball, and just execute one more pitch.
Here's another 3-2, got him. So Cruz strikes out, Span hits a solo home run. A great play to cut D. Gordon down, trying to move up on what would have been a wild pitch. After all that, 6-1 going to the 7th, Rockies. Time for our Kubota pitching performance. We just keep focusing on our starters every night because Tyler Anderson has been rolling along. Germán Marquez's turn. He has put back-to-back outstanding starts together after the 8 shutout in Los Angeles, or 8 innings of 1-run baseball to be more accurate. 6 innings of 1-run baseball tonight. He's getting high fives and hugs all around. The Rockies hitting in the 7th inning. Cargo will be first up. 2nd inning of work for Roenis Elias. And D. Gordon's out of the game.
You know what?
Andrew Romine is now in at 2nd.
After he started to walk down the steps after that play at home, he looked like he was clutching his back.
And this is bounced to first. Cargo retired 3-1. He's 1 for 4 tonight. Trevor Story coming up. Trevor's 1 for 3. Hey, tonight's attendance is brought to you by Cricket Wireless and a Safeco crowd this evening of 26,554. It is a beautiful ballpark, and when you're here, you see some of the influence of Coors Field. This park was open mid-season in '99, Huey, as you remember.
Yeah. I just think the way they kind of incorporated a little bit of the skyline in the back. The other thing I like about this too, compared to some of the other domes, is it's more of an umbrella that comes over the top. So you still get some of the natural airflow coming through.
And natural light.
And natural light. It doesn't feel so stale.
Yeah, I would agree with you. And this is a city this time of year especially, you want to be outside. 2-0 on Trevor. The bat is no good anymore.
No. Bat's not good. The ball's not going to be good. There's 3 pieces of the bat everywhere. Take a. Oh, that boy, you missed one spot. You got to go back out for another piece.
Yeah, they're gonna have to go get that.
What? One more, yeah.
It's like the old days when the maple blew up.
You'll see that when it's right off the cupped end of the bat.
That's a strike. And of course, adjacent to Safeco Field is CenturyLink, where Pete Carroll's team plays.
Russell Wilson, former
Rocky, Russell
Farmhand.
Wilson, their quarterback, and they're going to have to move forward without Cam Chancellor. They're one of their safety spots. He's been forced into retirement. What a great player Cam Chancellor was. 2-2.
Oh, that got it. Right off the knee. He says he's okay. Just wave to Keith Decker. I'm fine. You don't need to come out. So he got hit by the pitch. Remember that stolen base where he had to swim move and hang on by a fingernail? Oh, that was an ankle. I thought it was a knee. It was the right ankle.
Limp down to first and then take off on the first move.
If you have feeling in the ankle.
He's Texas tough, Huey. He's fine.
I know he is. Well, great. We got to slow it down on the Subaru Supermo to see it hurt even more. Ow. Got the shin guard on your left foot. He's on the right one.
You know, it would be helpful if he was wearing it. I'm not sure if he does or not. Wears the high tops.
Sometimes he does.
That is a double play. Gerardo's been robbed twice tonight. Once by D. Gordon and there by Ryan Healy, and that turns into an inning-ending double play. Rockies up 6-1. Lexus look back. Rockies got going in the first. Charlie Blackmon with a high fly ball to the seats. 1-0. Charlie's 16th of the year. Next inning, it was Tony Three Bags hitting one off the base of the wall to drive in a run. Tapia, who had doubled, comes around. Oh, and by the way, Germán Marquez, beautiful ball game today for 6 dominant innings. Gets a fist bump, pat on the back. Hugs all around as we go to the bottom of the 7th inning. The Rockies up 6-1. They have out-hit the Mariners 10-5. First of 3 here in Seattle with my partner, the former Mariner, Jeff Houston and Taylor McGregor. I'm Drew Goodman. Jake McGee will take over here at the bottom of the 7th. And the first man up is the third baseman, Kyle Seager. And Jake induces a pop fly to Cargo in right. That may have gone above the roof line.
Real close to it.
1 pitch, 1 out. That reminds me of Jake's last outing. He came
He
in,
double play.
Yeah, he came in with 1 pitch. He got 2 outs.
And that was the first time he had pitched. That was back on July 3rd. First time he had pitched since June 28th. So he'd come in, 1 pitch. I'm good. 2 outs. Here we go.
Yeah, on the drive home, he was looking for another game to participate in. Need a little more
Honestly,
work.
after 1 pitch, you need to ice. Then that's always the question I had for pitchers. You still need to ice after 1?
I don't know. Good
They all
question.
do. They all do, though. I mean, I would joke with them and say, why are you doing that? You threw something down in the bullpen, came in 1 pitch.
And they told you respectfully who you stay on your side of the clubhouse.
Pretty much.
We're a different group over here.
That's pretty much how it went down, too.
Right?
Yeah.
Pitchers hang out together. And you guys look over there with quizzical looks, right?
It's like the people that are in one corner, you're in the other, and you're like, oh, I wonder what they're talking about.
Well, sometimes you're not sure you want to know what they're talking about.
True.
2 outs as Healy's retired. That'll bring up Matt Gamble.
Well, the first 20,000 fans through the gates on Saturday, July 14th, receive a Nolan Arenado walk-off cycle bobblehead courtesy of King Soopers. Don't want to miss that one.
Two gone. Gamble coming up. Did I call him Matt?
I think
this is Ben. That's his brother.
that's his brother. See, you did it with Gamble. You didn't do it with the Seegers.
I didn't do it with the Seegers. I did it with the Gamble brothers. Sorry, Ben.
Hey, real quick, remember we were talking about Joey Cora? I got to clean something up. I was going back through my book, looking at some notes. He's third base coach for the Pirates. I'm not sure, but you know who is? Omar Vizquel is managing in the Carolina League in the White Sox system. So I just got to. Yeah, Omar is. But I was going back looking at some notes, and I was like, wait a second. Joey Cora is third base coach for Pittsburgh.
Folks, it's July. We're a little punchy. The All-Star break's coming up.
Right.
Get it straight.
We'll get it. Now we got everybody in the right position.
That's right. 2-2 on Gamble. In the interest of full disclosure.
I had the names right. I just had the wrong place.
Yes. But for me, in the interest of full disclosure, I wrote Matt Gamble tonight.
Did you
instead of
really?
Ben. Yeah. Two for McGee. Swung on and missed. Great inning for Jake. 2 fly balls to right field and a strikeout. Dominant 7th inning for McGee. Rockies up 6-1. Oh, what a gorgeous sunset that is.
As the Rockies are up 6-1 going into the top of the 8th. We go back to July 6th, 1998 at Coors Field. It's the Home Run Derby contest, and check it out. Mariners great Ken Griffey Jr. sending one to the 3rd deck as he wins that year's Home Run Derby contest. He's a legend around here, and he's a legend amongst everyone who plays baseball. I was talking to Nolan today. What does Ken Griffey mean to you? And he said he's the standard. He's one of the best to ever play the game. Drew?
That would be a true statement, and he made it look so easy. But you played with him, and behind the the hat on backwards and the easygoing demeanor of the kid, he grinded, didn't he?
Every day he took early batting practice. I mean, he was out there working on his swing, but he did make wearing the hat backwards cool. I mean, the style points went up, and he pulled it off. And he wasn't doing it to be disrespectful to the game. I think that's the thing that most people misunderstood with the hat backwards, because you can't do that. It's against baseball etiquette. That's not what he was trying to do.
No, and I think, especially in this day and age, it's great that he became the face of baseball. And you look at it now, and baseball, the popularity is tremendous, but it can be even better. And one of the ways is for young kids to be able to gravitate to some of the young great players we have in the sport. And they easily identified with Ken Griffey, not from a talent standpoint,
no,
but from the hat on backwards, the big smile, the handsome kid, and that's okay.
It's perfectly okay. I think baseball needs a few more guys like that. I think I get it. It's a team sport, and you want to make sure everybody's promoted in the right way. But there's some guys that you need to promote more. And there's nothing wrong with that. If you were to pull the guys in the dugout, they would say, sure, go ahead, do it. If it gets more people watching the game, it gets more kids playing the game of baseball, then I'm all for it.
I'll give you an example of a guy that we know is a great talent, a wonderful person, and a great model for kids growing up. He plays center field for the Rockies. If he was in New York with the Yankees, I'm not getting a shot of the Yankees, but he wouldn't be as recognizable because he couldn't have all the facial hair, right?
Yeah, right. He'd have to shave it off. Can't do it.
Desi jogs to first. He walks against Elias. Let's go downstairs again. Taylor?
Well, just going back to Ken Griffey, when I was talking to other people in the clubhouse, one of the things that stood out about Ken Griffey was playing backyard baseball with him, but it goes back to the swag you guys mentioned, the backwards hat. I just think kids in the 90s growing up, we remember him as a baseball player, but for the swag and backyard baseball, it was a big deal.
Do you know what, Taylor? One of the natural questions you have for all of us, for a young player when he comes up, or maybe even an established player when you're conversing with him, hey, who was your guy growing up? I guarantee you, even to this day, more than half of the guys in baseball, whether they're from North America or grew up in Latin America or even the Far East, they'll tell you Ken Griffey.
For sure. So I'm trying to think now, and Taylor's probably going to have to answer that. Backyard baseball, I believe, was that game that was played on the computer, not just on a regular gaming console.
I don't know. You and I played
Correct.
Stratomatic
right?
baseball.
Am I right?
It was on the computer.
Yeah.
Yes. Dial-up internet. It was a great thing.
That one? AOL?
Yeah, something like that.
You've got mail. My
You know what? My kids
had
had that. My kid, now that I think back to it, yeah, they had that game. Backyard baseball, they had backyard basketball, and a couple of, probably backyard football, too.
And we had Stratomatic. Roll the dice.
Roll the dice.
There's leagues still. I think that's on a comeback. I was reading it somewhere. Stratomatic baseball. Do you have that, Doug? You had Superstar baseball? Runner go, and Desi is going to swipe second on the swing and a miss. Now, when you swipe second, you're hanging on for dear life. You can't call time fast enough.
No, I mean, the one hand is still clutching the bag. The other one you've raised up to call time.
That's the 8th stolen base for Desmond. Earlier in the game, Story stole his 11th. 1-2 on Tapia. Jr. was a 13-time All-Star, won 10 Gold Gloves, hit over 600 homers, 630 to be exact, drove in 1,836 in a 22-year career.
And he got to play with his dad and hit a home run in the same game.
Remarkable. This to left, and it is foul.
Clanked. It was clanked, straight up clanked.
Yeah, we got to make that play.
I mean, come on, dude. Oh, I mean, that is all leather, too.
Again, he gets spun around 3-2.
Hardly stayed on the Subaru strike zone. The drop down. And that's pitch number 6.
Ground ball to short, and they just did get Tapia. Tell you what, Segura's going to go to the clubhouse after the game and say, those Rockies got some guys who can run.
Well, and they hustle down the line. That's what he's going to say. Because you don't see that all the time at the major league level. Desi moving up when the ball was hit behind him. Now comes Tony Three-Bagger tonight.
No, the correct name is Tony Three-Bags.
Tony Three-Bags.
Yes,
okay.
Tony Three-Bags.
See that tweet a moment ago, Drew? Stratomatic is still a thing.
It was awesome. I remember playing growing up. I'd go over to my buddy's house and we'd play all night. Oh, 1 to Tony. 1 out, Desmond at third. Rockies have played a terrific game in all aspects, and this is a fly ball to left field. Desi is going to tag. Here he comes down the line, then stop.
Pretty smart play.
It was smart because Denard Span made a very accurate throw to the plate. Not quite deep enough for Tony to produce his 4th RBI of the day. So it'll be left to LeMahieu, and DJ, good guy to leave it to. 2 RBIs tonight for LeMahieu. Sac fly in the 2nd. Ground rule double in the 6th that brought Tony home.
And again, that double in the 6th was career double number 150 for DJ.
Nice little milestone, 150
That's
doubles.
really nice.
DJ's got a little 6-game hitting streak going also. What you're seeing tonight from Elias is the advantage that American League managers have. He's on his 3rd full inning of work, where his number would have come up and he would have had to have been removed for a pinch hitter if it was a National League game. And the point is that you're not rolling through as many
Four
in the
guys
bullpen in a game that, you know, it's not out of reach, but the Rockies have been comfortably ahead.
Yeah, you're not going through three or four guys just to finish out a game.
2-1 on DJ. 2 outs, trying to bring home Desmond. He's at third. Walk, stolen base, moved up on the ground ball. Scott Oberg throwing in the Rockies pen.
He's been throwing a little bit, then he'll stand around after this longer inning.
We were talking earlier about Tommy Murphy heading east to be with his wife, who's about to give birth with their first child, and Scott Oberg's wife is not too far away. On the inside corner, 3-2.
That'll be their first child.
Three and 2 on LeMahieu. Another 3-2. And just enough room for Herman to make the catch. That'll end the inning. We'll go to the bottom of the 8th. Colorado in front of Seattle, 6-1.
Appreciation Day at Coors Field, and the first 15,000 fans through the gates will receive a military appreciation hat courtesy of iHeartMedia and Avalanche Harley. First 15,000 fans Sunday, July 15th. New pitcher for the Rockies, Scott Oberg. And since he made his debut in 2015, he has had 174 relief appearances, the most by a Rocky during that span. This year, number 20 for Scott, working on a 5 2/3 scoreless streak.
Well, Scott typically has what used to be referred to, I still hear it once in a while, as a guy with a rubber arm.
I still think it fits. I mean, you know, so it might not be used as much as it once was, but it still fits. So there's guys that can just throw every single day. They never really get that tired or sore arm.
One and one on Chris Herman. 8-9-1 for the Mariners in the bottom of the 8th. First to 3 here in Seattle. Fly ball center field. Charlie's got it. And that'll bring up the center fielder for Seattle, Guillermo Heredia. That'll get your attention.
That will. It wasn't intentional on Scott's part. It just sailed on him.
Slider fouled off the
And
end
then
of
he
the
comes
bat.
back
1-1.
with the slider.
It was a sharp slider.
Uh-huh. Really good.
Two and one. And that ball's lined to left, a base hit. That slider not quite as sharp. It rolled a little bit. So a 1-out base runner for Seattle, and that'll bring up Andrew Romine. First at bat for Romine. Still haven't heard from the Seattle clubhouse as to why D. Gordon was removed.
Andrew came in on the top of the 7th inning. So did you write Andrew Romine in the book or Austin, his brother? We've got 3 brother combinations going tonight.
Hot shot to the left side, a base hit. No, I actually got this one.
You got that one right? Because you got the Seager brothers, you got the Gamble brothers, and the Romine brothers.
Hockey game might break out. That's so commonplace in the NHL, or used to be.
It used to be. Just a slicing ball to left field past the diving Nolan.
The interesting things about Seattle, and they come into this contest tonight 56-32, 24 games above 500, yet their run differential, if you subscribe to that, and I think it is indicative, certainly once you get well into a season, of where a team is just plus 25. Usually a team's nowhere near plus 25. You think, oh, they're probably 4, 5, 6 games over 500, maybe up to, maybe 10 games over 500. 24 games over 500, but it speaks to the number of one-run games that they've not only played in, but won. 26-11 in those tight games.
That's a 703 winning percentage in those one-run games. The only other team in the major leagues that has at least 20 wins in one-run games is Milwaukee. They're 20-11.
Segura, comebacker. This should be 2.
DJ got that one.
I wasn't sure. I was waiting for Story to throw it, and then I'm saying, oh, DJ threw
DJ
it.
got it. Double played. Number 90th on the season for the Rockies defense.
That's 1-4-3. And watch again. Oberg said, I'm just going to throw it over the bag. One of those guys will catch it. Jenny, that's Tony Three Bags. He's got a new nickname, courtesy of Twitter.
And it's Corey Sullivan with 2 triples in an inning, so I know that's what they're going to talk about tonight in the postgame show.
I'm going to say that with a little bit of disdain in your voice.
No, I don't. I would say if it was Spilly, but not Sully. No.
Nick Rumbelow is now in the ballgame for Seattle. Top of the 9th inning, Blackman, Arenado, and Gonzalez. Been a good night for Charlie. 2 hits and 4 trips to the plate, including a home run back in the first.
Rumbelow is a fastball, changeup, curveball combination from the right-hander.
You know who I thought we might see tonight was Juan Nicasio, former Rocky. First year in Seattle.
I think they'd like to hold him more for the plus side.
He's normally on the plus side, but his ERA's elevated.
Trying to get him back, yeah. Get him back. And
this is sharply hit, and that is toward the left center field gap. And Charlie held to a single on a good play by Span.
Well, it's good to see.
3-hit night for Blackman.
Yeah. Started off with the home run and then now taking a pitch away, single into left field.
Charlie's a 300 hitter. And when you're hitting 270, you know there's a lot of good to come.
I know you like to say water finds its mark.
It does. When guys have done it as long as he has.
Yeah.
It's like Nolan. Remember Nolan wasn't hitting a lot of home runs early. Guys are pitching him away. And even Nolan had a comment the other day. He said, man, I was wondering if I was going to hit homers anymore. Now he's leading the league. Water finds its level.
Yeah, there's just certain guys you don't have to worry about.
Two strikes on Nolan. Another guy, DJ. DJ's throwing out a double and a sac fly tonight, but DJ's hitting around that 280 mark. He's a 300 hitter. He's established himself as such over the last several seasons. 6 runs, 11 hits for the Rockies tonight. And Nolan goes down. Who wants tacos, fans? The Rockies are a run away. Follow us at AT&T Sportsnet RM on Twitter to receive alerts for the Rockies taco special when the Rockies do score 7 in a game. Cargo is single in the first inning. Fly ball, strikeout, ground out since then. Top of the 9th inning in Anaheim. The Dodgers leading the Angels 2-1. Cargo lines this ball to deep left center field, and this will kick around. Blackman is going to get a green light, and Charlie will score easily. There's your 7th run. Cargo with a run-scoring double, 7-1 Colorado. Tacos for everybody tomorrow.
30th RBI on the season for Cargo. And give some credit to Stu Cole on this one, because Denard Span got over, and after this ball went off the wall, he got it quickly, but he had nothing behind the throw to get it in. It's a hanging changeup away from Cargo. And this is classic Cargo. But watch Denard Span as he gets his ball, doesn't get a whole lot on it, and throwing it kind of off balance where it's a jump throw, and Stu just waves him as that ball floats harmlessly back to the infield.
Two-hit night for Cargo. 7-1 Colorado. Story takes ball one.
There's Stu.
And Stu is an outstanding third base coach.
He just has a good feel of when to send guys, when to hold them up.
And that's tough. It's not as easy as it looks. Oh, send them, don't send them. I mean, there's a lot of things you have to process very, very quickly.
And I've seen coaches, third base coaches in particular, get fired because they're making the wrong decision. It's like, okay, they should have sent them and they're holding them up, or vice versa.
Yeah, what you're standing there? Why didn't he get sent?
Why did he? Yeah.
Or conversely, the guy gets thrown out by 20 feet. You're saying,
and you're scratching your head.
There's so many things you have to factor in. Scoreboard always dictates everything, right? Then you arm strength. Not only arm strength in the outfield, you have to know arm strength of the infielders in the middle who may be firing that ball to the plate on the relay. You have to know foot speed of the guy that you have, that you're coaching around third.
How hard is he running between second and third? You know, some guys will think automatically, well, I'm just going to get to third. And so then the third base coach has got to stop him.
Not easy.
You know, for Stu, he's got that good feel.
Stu's managed a lot of games in his professional coaching career. This is going to be tough for Seager. Didn't get him. Another leg hit for Trevor Story. And I think one of the things that's on display today that's going to make Jeff Bridich, who's at this game, really proud, and another guy who's at this game, Zach Wilson, who's the Rockies farm director, really proud. One of the emphasis of the Rockies organization, top to bottom, is athleticism in the guys they draft and the guys they sign from Latin America. Positional versatility and overall athleticism. And we've seen it tonight. Desmond with the bag, Story with the bag, leg hit there. Tapia almost with a leg hit.
Well, and you caused an error by Segura because Desi was running hard down the line another time. It's just, and then what happens is guys in the dugout, they feed off of that.
It's one of the reasons the Mariners have improved.
Yep, true.
It was something that Jerry DiPoto had on his agenda from the time he took over, to improve the athleticism of the Mariners. I'm sure Jerry's looking on tonight. I know you and I visited with him earlier. I had a conversation with him about Story. I said, this kid absolutely can fly, in addition to hitting it over the wall.
Well, the hard thing.
There he is, getting a leg hit. There's Jeff.
Well, and the hard thing sometimes, too, in these interleague games, when you're going up against a team that you're not familiar with, is you'll hear, hey, they run hard down the line. They're not taking it easy. And you know what you're saying to yourself? Okay, I got it. Yeah, man, this is the big leagues. And then it happens, and then you're going, wait a second.
Yeah, when it plays out that way?
Yeah, wait a second. They were telling the truth.
The guy Jeff was talking to, another member of the front office, Jamie Hollowell. And Jamie's on the research side. There's Jamie in the middle, figuring out all the math equations that
but you and I can't figure it out.
You and I can't figure out. High fly ball off the bat of Parra. And that's the second out.
Zach Wilson on the left.
And Zach, as we're talking about, the farm director, and Zach doesn't get to see the major league team play in person very frequently. And he's taking advantage this weekend. but he gets to see a whole lot of Asheville and Albuquerque and throughout the minor leagues. Yeah, and Hartford,
Boise.
Boise. Now he's got to see the short season teams also. Been some good pitchers to come out of New Hampshire. This Romine, that'll end the inning, but the Rockies get a 7th run. Blackman a single, Cargo a double. Rockies looking for 3 more outs. 7-1 Colorado in Seattle. Colorado Rockies baseball on AT&T Sportsnet is brought to you by Southwest Airlines. Low fares, no hidden fees. That's transparency. And by Wells Fargo. Wells Fargo customers get your 2-for-1 Rockies club level tickets by visiting wellsfargo.com/Rockies. Here's Tony 3 bags with another triple. Collected triples tonight. 2 for Tony. He's had a big night. Driven in 3. And the Rockies enjoying a 7-1 lead as we embark on the bottom of the 9th inning. Chris Russin, the Kentucky product. He'll be asked to get outs 25, 26, and 27. 30th appearance for Russ tonight. Not all in one night.
No.
Over the course of the season, that'd be a lot of times coming out of the pen. And if you come out more than once, it's illegal. So
and he just can't do it.
No. Denard Span takes a pitch just inside. Ball 1. Span. Cruz and Seager.
Yeah, but for Chris Russin, you talked about Scott Oberg and the amount of relief appearances that he has made. For Chris, this is a relief appearance with the Rockies of number 114.
Two and 1. Closing in on the All-Star break, Huey. The Rockies play 3 up here. And then home next week for 6. There's a base hit for Span. And then it's the break.
Yep. And then
finish that first half strong, and they're in the midst of a real good run, having won 6 out of 7.
Well, then you're coming up here to play the Mariners, who We said are 24 games above 500 coming into tonight. You go home, play Arizona for 3, and then back again at it against these Astros. And then after the break, you take off for Arizona.
Cruz 0 for 3, a ground out, 2 strikeouts. On the corner for a strike. Hit attack tonight for the Rockies. And again, if you missed it, Germán Marquez was terrific. 6 innings of 1-run baseball, and that came in the final inning, a solo home run with 2 outs by Denard Span. Span has 3 of the 8 hits tonight, by the way, for Seattle. Cruz line drive center field.
You mentioned the performance by Germán. This holds up, which you think it will. The Rockies will go to 29-11 when the starter has a quality start, and going to be a couple lefties tomorrow. And Kyle Freeland, who's on the top of his game, and then James Paxton for Seattle, who earlier this year threw a no-hitter against Toronto.
He was a college teammate of the guy on the mound, Chris Russin in Kentucky. James Paxton is the real deal. And Kyle Freeland, baseball world starting to find out it's the real deal also.
So for Kyle Freeland, the last 3 starts, 2 against Mad Bump, 1 against James Paxton.
Kyle has been terrific all year, start to start. Seager at the plate, takes a strike. Same spot. How's that not a strike? That was even better than the first one.
Well, the flinch of Kyle Seager must have made Doug Eddings flinch.
Two and one. Mariners came into the ball game tonight with the 4th best record in baseball. Rockies jumped on him quickly. Blackman home run in the first. They added 2 in the second. Vaughn kept putting up zeros. 3 more in the 6th. Run in the top of the 9th.
They're going to fall a little further behind Houston, because Houston beat the White Sox tonight 11-4.
And for the Rockies, not going to pick up any ground on Arizona. Arizona beat the Padres tonight. 3-1 the final down in Phoenix.
Zach Godley with the win.
Dodgers lead 2-1 in Anaheim. Mentioned that. And they're an out away from securing that victory in the bottom of the 9th.
Kenley Jansen trying to close it out for the Dodgers.
Your old club. You have a few old clubs.
I got a few old clubs. I think just
not the Expos. The Expos didn't play tonight, but
they didn't.
No.
Darn it.
Your old club, the Orioles, they're having a rough year.
They're not good.
They're not good. They
not
lost
good
again
at all.
tonight. Swung on and missed, and Rustin strikes out Seager for the second out.
I think the only question Baltimore has is when are they going to trade Manny Machado?
Here's the pitch.
Good slider from Chris.
How much are teams willing to part for a rental player? That's one of the keys. I mean, if you're going to trade Manny Machado, you want to get a whole boatload back in return, but teams might not sell the farm. That's outside ball one, moving up his span.
And I think the closer it gets to July 31st, the less of the farm they'll give up.
Because you're getting him for a less period of time.
Yeah, so I think the sooner they trade him, the more they'll get for him.
1-0 on Ryan Healy. Strikeout, ground ball to short, and a fly ball to Cargo. 2 outs in the ninth. The Rockies up 7-1. Got good news from Anaheim.
Tied it up.
Jansen gave up an RBI single to David Fletcher to score Shohei Ohtani to tie the game at 2.
Nice.
Rockies came in, tied with San Francisco, 3.5 back of the Dodgers and Diamondbacks, who were tied atop the division. A cheer you never hear in Seattle. Let's go, Angels. (2-0 on Healy). 3-0 on Healy. Yeah, that'll be a great matchup tomorrow. And a reminder, it's tomorrow afternoon, folks. It's an afternoon game here at Safeco. 1 o'clock Pacific time, 2 o'clock back home. Pre-game show at 1:30. It's a ground ball to Nolan, and he'll fire it across. That's the ball game. The Rockies win at 7-1. Great way to start your weekend in Seattle. A convincing win. The Rockies played terrific baseball in all facets. Charlie got him going early with a home run, his 16th, and of course German Marquez was terrific tonight on the mound as well. He improves to 7-8. Felix Hernandez